Welcome to Spotlight Santa Monica. I'm Sandy Jacobson. We have a fun show for you today, starting with how the city gets information to its residents and wrapping up with a local gem, the Annenberg Community Beach House. Living in such a dynamic city, there are so many projects and events happening at all times, and making sure you, the residents, know what is happening is the city's public information team. And joining me now is Public Information Manager Robin G. Robin, it's nice to have you here again.
Thank you, Sandy.
I got to talk
Glad to be here.
Oh, well, it's delightful. I got to talk to you about City TV, where we both work, but you wear another hat. You're also the Public Information Manager.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Well, Santa Monica is such a bustling and busy and engaged community, and the city of Santa Monica has many services, programs, and events. And so what the public information team does here at the city is tries to get the word out about all these services, events, and programs so that people can know what's going on and take advantage of it.
So let's talk about our newspaper, Seascape. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, Seascape comes out 6 times a year, and it promotes a lot of the different things happening in Santa Monica and a lot of services that people may not know is available. And we've been working really hard to make it more graphic with more information. One of my favorite ones was a street sweeper article we did that shows that the average street sweeper picks up tons of debris every year off of Santa Monica streets. Sometimes I think those machines don't really do anything. They look like they're just moving everything side to side, but it's really making a difference.
Where do people get Seascape?
Well, Seascape is mailed to every mailing address in the city, as well as it's at all the public counters, parks, libraries, and in the city buildings.
So besides print, which we all know is sort of so yesterday, what about the internet? What part does social media play in getting the information out?
Well, the city of Santa Monica has all the social media tools to get information out to people, and I think with technology it becomes more and more challenging for us to be where people are and to try to give people the information the way they'd like to receive their information. And that's our job, is to try and put out the information in as many channels and ways. So not only are we doing print, but we're doing Facebook, Twitter, Flickr, YouTube, so we try to be everywhere that people are.
What's the Twitter address?
Well, our Twitter address is at Santa Monica City, and we have over 8,000 followers.
Wow.
And we're constantly monitoring what people say and trying to have good conversations with them. And if they have a question, we try to refer them so that people can get answers or be referred to the right person, because city government can be confusing sometimes. And so sometimes people turn to Twitter for that. And so at Santa Monica City is our handle, and if you want us to see it, just put that right into there. And you can hashtag Santa Monica, and we'll see your information as well.
So it's really a two-way conversation.
It can be. It really can be. And what we're trying to do is to give people short snapshots of information. There might be a community meeting or a craft workshop or a big community festival, and sometimes a public workshop about things going on that we want people to be engaged and to have input and to have a voice in. And so we want more and more people to be involved, to be able to hear the full range of voices in the community, and that's why we're out there on social media.
You know, I've been with City TV so long, but I remember the public electronic network, PEN. And I remember how exciting that was, and I think about it now, and it's almost like cave drawing.
Right.
I mean, it's so out of the, it's so old.
Well, and if you look at our city's website, we have thousands and thousands of pages of information nowadays, but we continue to, just like PEN was really kind of a leader in technology, that's what we're trying to do as well.
Now, somehow public information relates to traffic and parking. I'm not sure how, but my notes say it does.
Well, I think public information, we have a lot of information that's available to people. And so I think people can be aware that there is a lot of traffic on the streets, or they're looking for a parking space. There is a lot of construction activity going on in Santa Monica. And so what we want to do is educate people to know before they go, and to look at their computer or their mobile phone before they get in the car. And if they're willing to do that, they will be able to get traffic information, parking information, construction information, so that you can know what intersections to avoid. Because with Expo coming into Santa Monica, we sometimes have complete closures of intersections for a week at a time.
I know, I
and
got
so
caught on
we're
that.
right. So we're putting that information out everywhere we can,
Right.
but we need people to understand that we need you to be, or try to find the ways to get the information so that you can save time and get less frustration when you're out on the road.
So two things about that. First of all, is there an address for that parking and traffic?
Yes, yes. So first, if you're looking for real-time parking availability, and it even includes parking meters down to the block, we have a ParkMe application. So you go to, it's for Android as well as iPhones, and you just put in Santa Monica parking, and it's a free app, gives you real-time information, and you can put in if you want to pay the cheapest amount for parking, or you want the closest parking, or the longest amount of time. You put in all those parameters, and it'll help you guide you to parking in Santa Monica. It includes all the parking structures, a lot of the commercial parking structures, and again, some of the parking meters.
So who keeps that up to date?
Well, we have smart meters, and we have devices in all our parking garages that tell you how many spaces are available. And thanks to the miracles of technology, we can aggregate that all in one place. And then we also have our Be Excited, Be Prepared program, which is at smconstructs.org. And you can track, I mean, on one side there's all the construction and the traffic, but on the other side there are so many upgrades and new things coming to our community to be really excited and proud about. So we want people to learn about the projects, understand the temporary inconvenience of construction, and to be able to track the progress on these projects.
And and that can't be computerized. The traffic can't be computerized, or is it?
Well, you can on your Google Maps. You can see traffic information, and there are also apps like Waze where people self-report where there are accidents or hang-ups, so you can try to get around in traffic. But don't do it while you're driving, of course.
Or having a television conversation.
Right, right. So have a passenger do it for you.
Right. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I went to use Waze the other night, and it said, "No, I'm sorry, you're driving." And then it had a thing, I could say I was the passenger, which I was.
Right.
Right. What about the city's homepage? How do you utilize that?
Well, the homepage is a good starting point if you're trying to find out what's going on this weekend in Santa Monica, or the latest public meetings or updates about special projects, because we try to put that all right there on the homepage for you and to get you from there where you need to go.
So the city hosts some big deal events like the LA Marathon and GLOW. How does public information work into the preparation and execution of these events?
Well, we're very fortunate in Santa Monica to be a popular destination, and we're the finish line for the LA Marathon. We have the GLOW, huge arts event that happens once every few years in Santa Monica. So we go from a community of about 90,000 residents to sometimes over 250,000 people, especially on a holiday weekend.
All looking for parking.
All
right.
looking for parking and traffic.
Right.
And so what we do is we do a lot of outreach to the business community, to neighborhood organizations, as well as to people who might be along the LA Marathon route or live near where the GLOW activities are, to let them know what the changes will be in parking and what their access will be, and ways to mitigate or to get around it.
So on a more serious note, in case of an emergency, you play an important role in that, don't you?
Yeah, I think what people don't realize is that when we have a big event like the LA Marathon or GLOW, due to recent events like the Boston Marathon bombing, we have to be prepared and ready with the right staff, resources, people on standby, so that if something unexpected and tragic happened, that we would be ready to respond. And so we gear up for each special event to be able to respond to a full range of possibilities that might happen. And that includes being able to communicate with each other, deploy resources, communicate with the media and the community so that they can stay safe.
What's your role in that? I mean, do you have to go down to a central point and be there like with the police and fire and all of that?
Right. So when we have a very a highly emergency situation, we activate our emergency operations center, and I serve as the public information officer. So I'm gathering information, disseminating information to the community. We're using social media, our website. We have a radio station, keeping in contact with the media to let them know any updates we have, as well as our Facebook page and our homepage.
So, and we have something called SMA alerts, small
Yes,
alerts.
Santa Monica Alerts. So because a lot of people, we have an emergency system that will allow us to automatically call people on their landlines, but a lot of people may not have a landline or use their cell phone as their main way, and they're not at home by their phone. So if you sign up for SM Alerts, if there's a big emergency, we'll automatically text message or call your cell phone so that you can be in the know about something that may tell you need to evacuate, you may need to shelter in place, you may need to turn off your gas, or where the nearest evacuation center is. So you go to smalerts.org and you can sign up. It's free, and while you're there, you can sign up for traffic information, community event information, job information, community meeting information as well. So it's a great community resource to stay tuned in.
So how do you do that? How do you sign up for it?
Well, you'll create a login in your own profile, and then you'll have all these options to check off of what type of information you'd like to have.
So where do you go for it?
You go to smalerts.org.
.org. Okay. Well, I know I don't have to ask you this because you've been teaching me how to use the newest devices since we know each other, which is a long time. But how do you stay on top of these trends? I mean, I sort of heard of Flickr, but how do you know about all of that?
Well, we go to conferences and workshops. We're monitoring the media and learning best practices from other cities, as well as other communicators, so we can keep up on what technology works and what people are using and what is popular. And we're always trying to be where people are.
Well, I think you do a very good job of that.
Thank you, Sandy.
It's been a lot of fun talking to you about this other side of your responsibilities.
Yes.
And I thank you very much for talking about it. It's a lot to learn.
Thank you.
For more information, please visit smgov.net. Up next, they celebrated their 5th anniversary this year. We're talking about all the fun, culture, and activities at the Annenberg Community Beach House.
Experience Highways Performance Space and Gallery.
I knew my journey would lead me to a place
where I'd find a highway that I could travel to the beat of my own drum. Ride out the storm, 95 Joey died, but Deadly was born.
And there would be no limits to the vibrancy of my performance.
Join us each week at Highways Performance Space and Gallery and live without limits. Log on to highwaysperformance.org.
Good morning, sunshine. If he were, he'd tell you, right? You're too healthy to be. He didn't look sick. What if you weren't safe every time? What if he's sleeping with his ex? What if it broke? If you are HIV positive, what happens next?
You don't have to live with Mr. Doubt. Common Ground offers free testing and care for HIV and STDs, including hepatitis. Just stop by or call us.
It's time you know.
Once the historic home of a Hollywood screen legend, now the Annenberg Beach House is a true gem. Joining me is Nan Friedman, the Annenberg Community Beach House venue manager. Nan, thank you so much for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
So for those people who aren't familiar with the beach house, talk about it.
Well, the beach house is a beautiful destination. It's right on the ocean. It's a collection of outdoor areas, buildings, amenities, and it's a destination right on the ocean at 415 Pacific Coast Highway.
So I was going to ask you, where is it located? What's the best way to get there?
The best way to get there, well, there's several ways to get there. Many people drive, and we do have a parking lot there. We are also at the beach, so we have the beautiful bike path right there. We do encourage people to bike.
And is there bike parking?
We have many bike racks there. Yes,
Good.
There's a lot of parking spaces for bikes.
Okay, good.
We do ask people to bring their own locks. And then we do, public transportation doesn't come directly to the beach house, but the Big Blue Bus number 9 comes very close down to Entrada and West Channel on Pacific Coast Highway.
And what about, you said there's parking right there on the
Yes,
property.
we do have a parking lot.
I mentioned the Hollywood screen legend. Tell whose house this used to be.
Well, this is a 5-acre piece of property, and it was originally developed in the late 1920s by William Randolph Hearst, and it was he built a home there for his mistress, Marion Davies, who was a silent film actress, and a few talkies at the end
And
of her
it's
career.
really beautiful, and part of the original building is still there, isn't it? Part of
Yes.
the original property, I should
Yes,
say.
yes. We're fortunate to have 2 elements remaining from the original estate. One is the beautiful pool, which is really like the heart of our property, and the other is the guest house, which is a large, building, but it was her guest house.
What years are we talking about? When was she living?
It was the late 1920s. It was developed. The property was developed in the late 1920s, and then Marion sold. It was her estate, and she sold the estate in 1947 to Joseph Drown. It became Ocean House, which was a hotel, and that Joseph Drown also built a club there, the Sand and Sea Club.
Right.
Yes.
So it's quite a history, isn't it?
It's an amazing history. It's terrific.
And then it suffered terribly in the '94 earthquake. I remember that.
Yes, it did. It suffered terribly. It after it was Ocean House, the property was then sold to the state at one point, and then the city operated. The city operated the property in the late 1990s, but
well, we were talking about the earthquake because I remember it had done a lot of damage.
Yes, the property was severely damaged in the Northridge earthquake, which prompted the city to create a reuse plan.
Right.
There was a big public process to create the reuse plan, which was approved, and then the challenge then was to fund the plan.
Yeah, find the money for it.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's where Wallace Annenberg came forward, huh?
Yes, that's, yeah.
Good for her.
I do want to mention that I kind of botched the history of the site a little bit there. Between Ocean House and the city operating the site, a significant history there was 1960 to 1990 when the Sand and Sea Club operated there, prior to the city operating the site as 415.
So what kind of programs are offered at the Beach House?
The Beach House is a year-round site, so our programming changes due to the seasons.
Due to the weather?
Due to the weather, right? It's very weather-driven down there. So in the summer, we have really robust programming. The pool is open every day. We do a lot of kind of beach-focused classes, volleyball and swim classes, and yoga. Yoga's year-round, but we add things, like Tai Chi. And then in the spring, summer, and fall, we also have synchronized swimming with the Aqua Lilies.
Oh my God, how much fun is that?
Yeah, it's terrific.
The Aqua Lilies are older, younger?
The Aqua Lilies are a fabulous synchronized swim company. Very glamorous company. They're very big in the party circuit, and they're really expanding all over the country. And we are fortunate enough to have them teach synchronized swimming at our Beach House pool.
And anybody can do that?
Well, it's only women, but and I think you have to be at least 14 years old.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong about that,
All
but
right.
yeah,
men would look silly doing
men would look silly doing it. But I think you do have to be at least 14.
Now, I know I brought a grandchild to a party at the Beach House. Private people can have parties there, huh?
Yes, we have a whole separate business within the Beach House. We prioritize during the summer, we prioritize public access. So the private events are very limited. And in the fall, winter, and spring, it's a little bit flipped. We prioritize private events while also allowing tremendous public access. And we have staff, an events team that manages all the events. Can
you serve alcohol?
We can, wine and beer can be served. but not hard alcohol.
All right, so you have something you call beach equals culture, but you just call it beach culture.
Yes,
Talk about that.
Beach Culture is a spectacular series at the Beach House. It is year-round, and it's a series of talks and performances.
What kind of talks?
Exhibits.
Lectures?
There's poetry readings, there's author talks. Cultural Affairs, who programs this series, they also often have scheduled the talks with artists who've received grants or fellowships. So it's and it's beautiful. It's a wonderful series. We have really, really high-level performances, incredible musicians of all kinds, from classical to quirky, edgy accordion music. And
edgy accordion music sounds like an oxymoron.
The programming is pretty broad and amazing, and it's free.
Wow.
It's free. We ask that people make reservations, which they can do through our website, and it's terrific.
So is that done inside or outside?
Most of those events take place in one of our event rooms, in the Garden Terrace room, but it can take place in the in various locations.
Is there a limit to the number of people who can show up at the Beach House on a summer day?
Well, our site is pretty expansive, and we're open to the beach. So, there's a limit to how many people can be at the pool.
Okay.
But the rest of it kind of takes care of itself. We've never had to say that the splash pad or the courtyard is too full.
Right.
No.
So you talked about the artists program. It's like an
Yes.
artist in residency, isn't it?
Well, we do. Part of our Beach Culture series includes an artist residency program, and this is also managed by the Cultural Affairs staff, and they do an outstanding job. And right now we have 3 residencies that we've been doing: a writer in residence, a choreographer in residence, and a theater company. And the theater company usually shows up in the summer.
So what does it mean exactly to be an artist in residence?
Well, it's the artists are chosen through a request for proposal process, and it
Do
means
they live there?
No, they don't live there.
Oh, okay.
Nobody lives on the property, although everybody wants to stay there. Everybody wants to stay overnight at the guest house, but that doesn't happen. What it means is that the artist in residence gets an office in the guest house, so they get to kind of set up shop there for there are different lengths and time, 6, 8, 10 weeks. And then part of their process is that they complete a project that they're working on. And they also do public engagement.
Interacting with the public.
Interacting with the public. So for the theater company, which is coming up this summer, they'll rehearse on site. So people will be able to engage in their rehearsal process and watch them and then see the performances. They'll also do some workshops as part of the Beach Culture series. And so it kind of works like that, and it's been a really lovely experience.
It sounds like it's buzzing all the time.
We feel like we're buzzing.
Yeah.
Staff certainly feels like we're buzzing all the time, and the site is pretty buzzy too.
What's interesting is here you had this old property from the 20s, so it's almost 100 years.
Yes. Yeah.
90. But it's a gold LEED building. So talk a little bit about that.
The Annenberg Community Beach House is a really incredible blend of elements from the historic property, the original property, and the Annenberg community, what was created to become the Annenberg Community Beach House. So there's contemporary architecture there. Frederick Fisher is the architect that created the Annenberg Community Beach House with contemporary buildings and tying together a pretty just wide-ranging kind of site. And it's beautiful. It's very cohesive. We feel it's very cohesive. And
well, so it's interesting. Off to the side, you've got the guest house, which is close to the way it looked when it was originally built. And then over here, you have the more contemporary part.
Almost everything else is contemporary except for the original pool, which is beautifully blended into a pool house. And a lot of the architecture pays homage to the original architecture. The pool house that is right by the original pool has these tall columns that kind of denote the original columns in the mansion that stood right there.
Is there a cafe or someplace where you can get food?
We do have a cafe on site. We don't operate the cafe. It's the Back on the Beach Cafe, which is kind of a really great Santa Monica institution. And they are our concessionaire on site.
So we only have a minute left, but we only have 30 seconds left. Can you give me a day at the beach house in 30 seconds?
Oh, a great day at the beach house is to come, take a walk on the beach, get a cup of coffee and breakfast at Back on the Beach Cafe, sit in our gorgeous courtyard or up on our view deck, read the newspaper, write your novel. We have Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi available, and just take in the gorgeous, gorgeous scenery.
It's a wonderful
breathe
part
the
of
beautiful
Santa.
air.
That's
Yeah.
wonderful. Thank you so much, Nan. Appreciate
My pleasure.
it. For more on the Annenberg Community Beach House, please visit annenbergbeachhouse.com. Thank you so much for watching Spotlight Santa Monica. Join us next time for more of the people and apartments that make Santa Monica such a desirable place to live. Bye for now.